We learned about various terminologies like this is the second class. We learned about the various terminologies like uh, what is opportunities, sales flow, sales process, workflow, process flow, and all that. Case, queue, case escalation. So these are all the objects now we know, right? All right. So now, okay, as you see here, you know what is the Salesforce dashboard now, right? So you can switch
Yes.
to Salesforce Classic. Now you know what are the two views, Classic and the Salesforce Lightning. Okay, and you know how to switch back and forth, and it's, what is the difference between them in terms of the UI, and and as an admin how to navigate using the setup, right? From the setup you can navigate. Okay, now we are getting into the admin. All right, so you'll be, once you say, click on the setup, you will be able to see all the administration things. Okay, so this is the build and deploy, those are all the developer related things, and you can see the administrator related things here. Okay, it's exactly the same thing between the Lightning and the Classic. Okay, the UI is going to be different. UI is going to be more intuitive in the Lightning. All right, so now let's see, like, as an administrator, class 2. So what is the role of administrator in a company, or what are the roles? What are the roles of administrator? Okay, so say for example tomorrow you got a job and you're eventually going to get a job as an administrator in Salesforce, right? So as an administrator, what will be your job, day-to-day job, like day in day out? What will be the things that administrator can do? Okay, the basic thing is Salesforce is all about the data, right? When you're saying, like, all about the data, we are going to manage, as administrator you will be managing the bigger instance, right? Like you'll be managing the bigger instance with a lot of users. Like say for example, if you're managing a Salesforce instance for McDonald's, like there will be like thousands of employees who is working on the McDonald's. They'll be logging in, right? So basically, like managing the instance, and managing the instance in sense like managing the whole org. When I say instance, it's like organization, or we call it as org. Okay, and then manage the users. How to, like, if they have issues in logging in, you might have to reset the password, right? Or if a new employee joins, you might have to create the users, right? So those are all the things, like, managing, or if they forgot the password and if you want to notify them, all that. Okay, and like security. When you're talking about the security, like when we're talking about the security, for example, it's in the cloud. As long as you have the username and password, you can access it from anywhere. You can access it from India, you can access it from Australia, you can access it from Japan, right? As long as you have the URL, you should be able to log in with the username and password. Like there are scenarios like, okay, you want to have your instance or like your org to be accessed within your geographical location. You don't want somebody to log in from outside world, outside your region, right?
Yes.
You can do that because those are all the security things that administrator can deal with, right? I mean, why do we need to allow from access from Australia? Like, if nobody has nothing to do with your org from Australia, right? And also, for example, if there are, like, people who are working in the HR department, right? We don't want them to log in after business hours. They can only log in from 9 to 5 within the company. Within the company, when once they come to office, they can log in, and then they can work only from 9 to 5. Okay, you can have all sort of security settings, which I will show you, like, to make sure that your org is secured in terms of giving the access. Okay.
Okay.
And then when we're talking about the user management, you can create the users, but you will have to give them with the right roles and the right profiles, right roles. What they can do, as for example, CEO can, you don't want to give the CEO role to everybody. There will be only one CEO for a company. There will be like a couple of HR managers, or there will be a couple of department managers, or department senior managers. or there will be a sales manager and sales representative. Sales rep doesn't want to see the data from CEO. As a CEO, you'll have to see how the company is performing and what are my profits, on how many accounts I have, and what are all the profits from each account. And you can see all those sensitive informations. But as a sales rep, I don't want to see all those informations, right? I mean, we should not see it basically. Then what is the difference between the CEO and the sales rep? Sales rep is going to be he's going to play the role of low level, right?
Yes.
So we have to, as administrator, you'll have to provide the right roles and then the right profiles and all that. We'll be talking to you about what are the roles and what are the profiles and all that. Okay. So now we're able to get a feel of what the administrator's role and what the administrator can do. Okay. And also for example, generate a report. You want to produce a report to your CEO. You want to produce a report to your department head. Even take an example of HR department, right? Hey, there are 100 people who joined this company last month. Okay. And these are all from various departments. All 100 people doesn't necessarily have to be in the same department. They can be from various departments, right? And these are all the salaries for them, or these are the seniority level they joined. Okay. How many people are leaving the company? Okay. In that way, from the report, your CEO or the department head can know the attrition, how their company is going on, right? I mean, they have no data, because then there are 60,000 people working in a company. How will they get to know? For example, the Salesforce is extensively used in all the companies. You take for an example of a call center. There will be 10,000 people working, right? And how will you get to know who is coming, who is leaving, or who is joining the company? You need to generate a report every month or every week and give it to the HR, right? These people left, and what is the reason for leaving, and how long they stayed in the company, and why are they leaving so quickly? Okay, and what is the role they are playing, and from which department they are leaving. All those things you can generate. You can collect the data, right? You can analyze the data. So it's administrator's responsibility to generate the report and to provide the report. And as part of this administrator's roles, I will also teach you how to generate the report and what are the different types of reports that we can do all these things. Okay. So we're able to coming into the Salesforce world so far to give you a feel what the administrator what are the administrators can do. Okay. All right. And there is something called data modeling. This is more of developer come administrator. Developer and administrator can involve in that. The reason being, for example, your company is saying that, hey, build me an app for this, build me a product, or build me an app application for that. Okay. For example, let's take an example of McDonald's. And the company is coming and telling the development team, hey guys, from tomorrow onwards, we are going to introduce a new menu, a $1 menu. Okay, for $1 we give this combo, and then we are going to introduce another thing called $5 menu, and this will have this many products. The $5 menu will have a burger and your fries and your large fries and a drink. Okay, those sort of things. So you have to, from the point of sales, when I say the point of sales, when somebody is a customer coming into the McDonald's shop and they're swiping the card and they're making an order. Okay, whenever they make an order, that data has to come to the Salesforce. So they can get to know okay, so today from this store, this many $1 menu people had bought $1 menu, this many people had bought the $5 menu, all those things. Okay. Excuse me. So you have to define the data model. For example, you'll create an object called menu. I showed you, right? All of these case, queue, post, chatter,
sales.
Yeah, all of these opportunities, accounts, okay, contact, lead, campaign, all of these are called the objects, right? So you can create your own object. That is what it's managing the objects. I'll tell you what are the objects later. Okay. So
Okay.
even administrator can create a new object and give the developer that, hey guys, I created an object, so you can go and continue to work whatever you want to do, right? So these are all the things that the administrator can do. Any questions so far with the role of the administrator?
No. Nothing.
No? Is it all clear? Right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Cool. So now let's get back to the Salesforce console. See, this is the developer org, right? The developer org can maximum have only 2 users. Can maximum have only 2 users. Like, yeah, when I click on the manage users, you can click on the users, and then you can see the list of users that is available as part of the system. Okay. Right. So first part is like, user management. User management. So in this way, how to create new user, update existing users, and then delete users. These are the only 3 things that we can do, right? These are the crude operations: create, update, delete. Edit. Edit is nothing but an update, right?
Update, yeah.
So if you see here, you can go to the users, manage users, and here is a new user account. Okay. And then you can give all the data that you can create, and then you can save it. Okay. Let's see, like, what are the things that you can provide the information. The same thing. This is the classic, right? When you go here to switch to the Lightning experience, like go to the setup, and you can see this administration, right? They have the users. Okay. So you can click on the users, and exactly the same thing. See here, the list of users will be coming, and you can click on the new users. I'm teaching you the Lightning itself. Okay. So that's what you need to know, both the Lightning as well as the classic, so you can be confident. Okay. All right. So if you see here, it's very simple. Whenever you create the users, you're going to provide, like, first name, last name, the alias. Alias is like, the something like called the meaningful identification. Okay. Like, something like like we call it as allies, right? Like, how do you call something like that? And the email address. So one thing is, like, the username has to be always in the format of the email. This will be one interview questions or the Salesforce certification questions. So you can ask, like, hey, why is that email and again the username? So email is to send the notifications regarding this account. Like, say for example, if you want to send the password notification, password reset notification, all those things, where will it go? It has to go to your email. That is what the email will be used. But to log in itself, you cannot have anything like, Sai kind of thing. No, the Salesforce doesn't allow those kind of username. It has to be in the format of email address, so it can be unique. Okay. Like if you see here, you see here, this is the email address. All the username is going to be as of the username address. Okay, I have like these many various accounts, but all of these are going to be like in the email format. That's what the usernames are. This is your one primary interview questions, or because as you manage the users, you should know like what is the format of the username. So how can you create the username and what is the format of the username? Can you tell? That's what if they will ask in the interview. Okay, if you tell that, okay, it can be like, hey, like, Sai or Sai K, nothing like that. You cannot create like that. It has to be in the full qualified, the format of email. The format of email. Okay. So it's, for example, like SDFC course kind of thing. You try to create such things, okay, in your org, because you can only create like maximum of 2 users. Okay. And then it's going to throw an error that it has to be in the format of email. Okay. And then, you can provide your own nickname. So this is just the display name of the user. Okay. Whenever you are in the community, Salesforce has a lot of communities, like developer community and all those things. So those things, your nickname will be appearing. And you can have your title, like what title you are playing, the software engineer, senior software engineer kind of thing, and what department you work, and what division in the department, what is the name of the company, all those things. Okay. Are you clear with this section?
Yeah.
All right. So here comes a role. Okay. Right. whatever, we'll also be creating a new roles here, but I'll tell you like what are the roles here. So when we are saying the role is more of a data visibility, how you can have the data to be visible to you, like what type of role that you are going to play in the company. Okay, if you see here, you can only play only one role. You can only select only one role in Salesforce. This is again another interview question or the certification questions. You cannot select, either you can be a director or you can be a CEO. You cannot be a CEO and be a director. This is just a drop down. From this itself, you can identify that user is going to have only one role.
Okay.
Right? This will be an easy interview question. Can the user play multiple roles in Salesforce? No, they cannot play. They can only have only one role. Okay, these are all the questions that will be asked as part of the administration when you're attending an interview. Okay, these are the tricky questions easily, right? I mean, they can catch it.
Yeah.
So that's why my way of training is always to motivate you in the form of interviews or the certifications or the tricks behind it, or like the depth behind, like what are the things that can be captured here in the Salesforce. Okay, like so these are the things that I ask and I have been asked like long back. That's why I know. Okay, so they can have only one role. We'll be talking about roles when we're coming to the roles. Okay, first thing is like how to create the users, and then we'll be talking extensively about roles and the profiles. What is the role and what is the profile? Okay, and then the next thing is the user license. Like so users can have like various licenses. Okay, like Salesforce charges based on the licenses. Okay, what type of license that the user is using. Okay, so if you have some additional licenses, like if it's like a work.com, they're providing like work.com platform where you can access only work.com. Okay, so if you're providing a force.com, the force.com includes everything. Okay, the Salesforce platform is like this, the force.com is even the old site. Initially it was not Salesforce, it was called force.com. When they launched the Salesforce, they modified like Salesforce recently, or like like few years back, and originally 1980s it was created as force.com. Okay, so when you're just having the force.com, it is going to include all the Salesforce as well as the force.com, the old one. It's compatible to the older versions also, the APIs. When it is like Salesforce platform, you can only access to the Salesforce platform when it became a Salesforce. Okay. Is it all clear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So all right, so and then there comes a profile. Profile is more of a profile is like profile based on the licenses. Profile goes based on the licenses. Okay, so profile goes based on the licenses. What type of license you have, you'll have the profile.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
have a question.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
For this license, do we need to buy a license, like to use as you said, work for something, right?
Right.
Work. So do we need to buy them, or is it free?
No, we need to buy them.
Okay.
Okay, like for example, the Salesforce has like okay, the Salesforce has 7 types of editions. Okay, this is again another interview questions for the administrators. 7 types of editions they can easily ask. One is called like personal edition. Okay, if they want to do a small group, or like if only one person needs to use it as a Salesforce, they are even selling it with a lesser price. Okay, and there is something called a group edition. If they want to have like a group of people in a small group edition. Okay, and there is called a developer edition. This is purely for the developer, which you created. Okay. which you created, and this is mainly for the developers. This has nothing to do with anything with the live. Okay. And then the something called a professional edition, which will have additional licenses, like more users. Okay. All the functionalities will be available as part of the developer editions, because the developer needs to practice with all the functionalities, right? All the features. The only thing is it has limitations that you can only create 2 users. Whereas in the professional editions, you can create like 8 users. The license goes as per the users. Okay. And what type of licenses you buy for each editions. Okay. And there is something called a enterprise edition. Most companies will have the enterprise editions, where they can manage like more users. And bigger companies like Walmart or Toyota or McDonald's, they are all be using the unlimited editions, because they have no limit. Yeah, there is no limit for that. And there is something edition called a contact manager, where it's like, it's more of a managerial provisions will be given to the contact manager. So that's what the, like, if they have one dealing with only the contact objects, there can be a manager editions where they can manage a lot of contacts. Okay. So these are all the 7 editions that is available as part of the Salesforce. Okay. So each editions will have their own licenses. Okay. So each Salesforce has their own licenses, and even for the user licenses, it goes for the user. Like, it's like you can have it as a standard user or chatter user licenses. So whatever the license types, if you see, there are like standard users license, which they can do all this. If you want to have like additional feature related to the chatter, you can have the chatter user licenses, meaning they can. So it really depends what you want, right? Okay, you walk to the coffee shop. Okay, they are having like cappuccino, frappuccino, white mocha, and the cold drinks, the beverages, all kind of beverages, or the simple coffee. What is your need? They will be asking, right? So similarly, when you say like, hey, I want like, like white mocha, and then they're going to make like a mocha coffee, and then, they're going to put a cream, and then they're going to provide. Whereas if you're going to ask like, simple coffee, they're going to provide you a very simple coffee. The same way, if you're saying that, hey, you want the chatter user, the user will have the capability of the chatter functionalities, where you can chat. It's more of the internal within the company. If they want to have like multiple users, it's more of the intranet. For example, let's take a company called Apple, and they want to build the intranet site, and they don't want to have the communications go outside Apple. It's just purely within them, and everybody has to chat with each other, right? And they can have their own. It's like a mini Facebook within their company itself, where they can share their company information, their office informations, their department informations, where everybody can go on, post, like, or they can do all sort of things. Like they want to have the chatter users, something like that. Okay. Or if they want additional to that, if they want to have like portal, service cloud users, so they can have like all sort of various licenses that is available here. And if you purchase the users based on that, see this user license, based on the user license, they will have the profile. Okay. This is the free user that we have that comes with the developer account. Okay. If you see here carefully, this is the existing user, for example. Okay. I go on edit. Okay. There is no such thing called delete button at all. When I say delete, there is no such thing called delete. Can you delete the user in Salesforce? They'll be asking in the interview. You cannot delete the user at all. If you see here, is there any delete button here?
No.
The only thing is that you can either make it active or inactive them. That's all.
Okay.
If you see it here, you can edit them. Okay. Or they have the role, they have the profile, and this is like, so who is the manager for this guy? You can have the manager name here. Okay. There is no such thing called delete at all. Okay.
Okay.
So you can go and create a new user, or you can edit them, or you can mark it inactive. If you don't want the user, if the user is leaving the company, you can just mark it as inactive. If you just uncheck,
Okay.
then this user will be like, inactive user. Okay. If, for example, I click this user, chatter expert, and then I just go and click here. See, deactivate this user, remove them from all delegated groups, sharing privileges. They will lose everything. Just the user alone will be there. Give me 1 second. Okay, the user alone, the user alone will be there. Okay. So, and then with additional to that, they are providing like, additional licenses or additional privileges they can have. For example, if this user is going to use the service cloud, this is the additional licenses with additional to whatever the user's license they have. Okay, they can provide like, service cloud. They can just click on the checkbox, whatever they want. Okay, like, okay, can the user use a marketing cloud? If you check the marketing cloud, this will be purely an interview, or so the certification questions. If they select the marketing user, there will be a marketing cloud user. If they have a service user, it will be a service cloud user. Okay. If they have like all any licenses, for example, like if they want to have like some knowledge base is nothing but the help the guide, or like help text. Okay. If they have like help, or like the whatever some tutorial kind of thing, where they want to gain some knowledge about the Salesforce. Okay, those are the things that they can create their own knowledge base site. In that situations, they can have the knowledge base user. Okay, so in this case, the user can have the multiple licenses. These are all the basic licenses. With additional to that, can the user have like the more than one user license? If they ask a question, yes, they can have the basic license, as well as they have an option to be a marketing cloud, or community cloud, or service cloud, or they can have like they can develop a website using the work.com, or like using the site.com, everything. Okay. So these are all the various additional licenses they can have. Okay. All right. So, and then, like, for example, so these are all the licenses related thing. If they want to have like the Salesforce CRM content user, you can go and provide the content users. If they have to have like a accessibility license, there are like various licenses they are providing. Okay. So this is like whatever it's like, you can have your call center number, or a phone number, all those things, mobile number, and employee number, all those things. Okay. So you can just have all those informations. And this is about the mailing address of the user. You can have your mailing addresses, the user of your, where do you work, on all those things, or you can even have your home data, everything, like whatever the mailing address. If somebody wants to mail them package to you, wherever you want to have, this is the mailing address. Okay. Like, for example, if you're going to have a single sign-on, like you have like various users, various applications. If you want to log in with your single sign-on, you can provide your ID. That's called like federation ID. Okay, so you can have the same ID informations to log in into the various apps, right? And then this is about your locale settings. What is the time zone you work, what time zone you are located, and what are the languages you speak, what are the languages you know. So you are dealing with what type of currency and all those things. Okay. And as an administrator, you are going to create a new user. Okay. As a administrator, you're going to create new users, and then you can say that generate new password and notify user immediately. It is going to generate a new password and notify the user with the email that you said, and then it is going to send an email that, hey, your user has been created in this org. Can you try to log in? Only then it will try to log in, and then it will create a user account, and then the user will be able to log in. Okay. Is it all clear? Any questions?
Yeah. No.
This is pretty simple. And the developer editions can have only 2 users that you can create. Okay. So only 2 users that you can create. Okay. The developer editions, like, so these are all the users that is available, but the additional to that you can create like 2 users. Okay. All right. All right. So when you are creating the users, now you know how to create the users, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now let's say, like, when you're having the user management, how do you want your user? So you can even send the notifications, like, when you're having creating, they can send the email, and then they can generate a new password and then notify the email. Okay, notify the users immediately. Okay. Right. So the one other additional feature that, if you can see, you can log in with a different user with this login icon. You can easily switch as an administrator. Hey, there will be another question. As an administrator, will you be able to log in, or you have to log out and then you have to switch? No, you can easily log in. Okay.
Okay.
You can easily log in as a administrator. See here. See here. I was able to switch to the different user right away.
Different user. Yeah.
Right. I was able to switch to the different user. Now this is the different user, and I was able to switch to the different user. Okay. Now if I'm logging in this, like, say for example, see here, this is completely, see here, logged in as this user, grubhub1982@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yes.
So this is a sure shot certification question. There will be, do you need to log out and log in back again? You need to know the password, or within the console itself, you will be using the login link, because most trainers are like, most people will not even know that you can just log in with the quick link that you have. These are the tricks, right?
Okay. Yeah. I have a question. Like,
sure.
Now you are logging to a different account. We can make the changes in their account, right?
Right. Of course.
Yeah. Like,
now I have a feeling that now I have a feeling that I'm logged in as this user. You see here, this user does not have the admin access, so I'm that user. I cannot be able to log in. Only admin can do that. This is not admin user.
Okay.
You see it? I don't see the login for any other users.
Yeah.
Now you are literally logged in as that user. See here, logged in as K. Kaliyamurthy. As you switch the context, let's use user log out. Now do you want to log out? Okay, it's asking, do you want to log out? Does it make sense?
Yes.
As an administrator, you will be having a login icon here. That's what I want to show you.
Okay.
I switch back. Must be logged out. You must log out and then to log in. Okay, switch. So now because that user was not admin. Does it make sense? It logged out, and now you need to log in.
Okay.
Now I logged in as admin user. Now if I go to the user profile, I should be able to see all this login. These are the very little things that they will ask in the certifications or even in the administrator interview questions.
Okay.
This you won't be able to see it in the other. If the user is administrator, only then you'll be able to see it. Got it?
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing is, any questions on the users? Now okay, if you want to just reset the passwords, you can just click the users, and then you can click on the reset passwords. Okay, so or do you want to reset the passwords? And then if you want to reset the passwords, you can just select
reset the password.
Yeah, it's going to be the simple thing, like if you want to reset the password, just click this, and then you can reset the password for this user, and then click OK.
I will get we'll get a notification to our user.
Right. They'll get a new password for the following user has been sent via email. User will be required to enter a new password upon the login to the Salesforce. Okay, so this is the username. If you see here,
Okay.
all the usernames that you see, it has to be in the email address, as I said before.
Yeah.
Okay, either they can have a different email address, or mostly it will match the email address. That's what it makes more sense. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on the users?
No.
All right. So now you are able to get into the feeling what the administrator will do in terms of relating the users, right? And also one more thing is
Yeah.
like you can even enter the multiple users at a time. Like for example, so you can select the users if you want to have like all the, you are migrating. Say for example, your company acquired another company. For example, Apple acquired Siri. Siri is the employee from Siri are coming into the Apple, and they have like 1,000 employees. They're all going to come.
Okay.
And you're going to segregate. Okay, so these are the bunch of employees who will be having this license. Okay, so you are going to select like the license, and then you can just enter the user number 1 2 3, like you can save, and then it'll ask. So this is just a short form, because everybody, you don't have to enter the license for the every individual ones. Okay. Also like you can even go and select the roles that you can see here. They will provide the roles. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Or like you can even specify the, you can even directly go to the roles. If you want to add a new role or anything, we'll be talking about that in the role. But here, this is where you go and you go and add multiple users. Okay. And then when you save, it will ask like okay, user number 2, user number 3, it will keep on going. And here for helping, they are providing you for the guide, they are providing what are the roles that is available. Like you need to know, right? I mean, so here you don't want to, when you're creating multiple users, you need to know where they are going to fit in, which role they are going to play, who is going to be reporting to whom. It just, the role is nothing but purely the hierarchy. Okay, for data visualization. So we'll be talking about more when we're talking about the roles and the profile. Okay. Does it all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now let's switch to the user management settings. So when we're talking about the user management settings, the first thing is like can the user okay, give me 1 second. Can the user deactivate themselves?
No.
I mean, you can provide an option. If they want to get rid of the Salesforce account, they can just, it's like getting rid of the Salesforce by themselves. Administrator don't have to delete them or deactivate them. They themselves want to deactivate, and they want to get away from the Salesforce org. You can give them the provisions. If you just enable, they can do that. If you just enable, they can do it. Allow the external users to deactivate their own accounts. They can log in, and then there will be a deactivate button. So like they'll be able to deactivate it. Like for example, if you go to the users, for example, if you see it here, so they will be able to just say that they can just deactivate or uncheck, like they don't want to be, they don't want to be active anymore. Okay. So they can do that. So that's what the user management setting is all about. Like when they're saying that so this can be enabled for the external users if they want to deactivate their own accounts. Okay. And hide some personal information fields in their user records from external users. Like whenever you want to specify, like they don't want to, they don't want to specify any of the personal information, like where they work, or what is the email, so what is the address they live, or like the mailing address and all those things, right? So those are the personal informations, like phone number and all those things, whatever we saw. They can hide the personal informations for the other users. Okay. And also like if you want to scramble, meaning So for example, some of the people, they don't want to have their personal data recognized in the Salesforce. Okay, this is purely for the developers. Like if you see here, after turning on these options, you can invoke the apex method, or like which permanently scramble the user data. Meaning, when you just enable this, anybody from outside through the API or apex code, apex method, they can get your personal information. So after turning on this option, you can invoke the apex method, okay, related to the user, which will permanently scrambles those user specific data. When you invoke the apex method, those user data becomes anonymous and you can never recover it. Okay, so this is purely for the developer, not for the admins. When we're talking about like how you can call the user data from apex method, you will get to know. Okay, all right. So when you're having like the other, this is just the settings for the user management. Okay, like when you're talking about enhanced profile list view, like you can create a list view of all profiles with the modify all data permissions. What does it means? Like when you're looking at your users, where your users can go and see all the profiles. For example, when you go to your profiles, these are all the list of profiles. Okay, for example, these are you can even create your own custom profile. In that way, there will be check marks will be done. Okay, like for example, cleaner is one of the profile. Okay, if you see here, this is the enhanced list. This is the enhanced. Welcome to the enhanced profile user interface, which means they are not providing just the list of just the profile name. Okay, this will be the profile overview, but this is called the enhanced view, meaning the extended view of the profile. Like what are the apps that has these profiles? Okay, what are the connected apps that is having? What are the objects that are using this profile? Okay, what are the developers who can use like permissions to execute this profile? All those things. Okay, and for example, this profile, whoever this cleaner can have like login hours like this. They can provide the login hours. If you want to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like Sunday, Monday, they can only log in only. So we're talking about the profile called cleaner. Cleaner can, for example, the cleaner comes only early in the morning between 7 to 9. When their job is done at 9 o'clock, they will just log out. I don't want anybody to log in after 9 o'clock. The cleaner comes only on Sunday. So they'll be able to log in only on Sunday. They cannot do anything else. When they want to feed the content, when they leave, they can do only on Sunday. They cannot log in any other days. Okay, those kind of things that we can do. In order to have this profile, this is what it's called as enhanced profile user interface. This is called enhanced view. Like if this is not, if these two pieces are not there, then it's the short view. But if you want to provide the enhanced view, like see, this is what it's saying. Welcome to the enhanced profile user interface. Managing the profile is easy with the enhanced profile user interface. Take a quick tour. Okay, like this is what they will be providing, like the list of profile, or you can edit the properties, and who belongs to this profile, like what are the users who has this, and what are the apps that has, and you can see all this. Okay, so browse app permissions and settings. Okay, system settings, these are the system settings. Okay, so if you don't have the enhanced profile, this will be only shorter view. That's what in the user management settings we are telling that hey, can you have the enhanced profile? Create profile list view in the fields you choose. For example, create a list view of all profiles with unmodified all data permissions. Okay, which means that you're going to have the more permissions related to the profile.
Okay,
does it make sense?
Yeah.
Right. The same thing like enhanced permissions to set component views. This is purely for the developer. Whenever you develop the components, you can see the component informations. Like for example, so if you see here, I can even have the lightning components. Okay, when you're talking about the components, you can see this purely for the developers, where you can go and see like each component will have the enhanced list of details. Okay.
Okay.
Right now it is disabled, so it is not providing for the full list of information related to the component. Okay. This is for the developers. For the portion of the permission set user interface. Okay. The user interface is not fully it's enhanced because it's disabled. Okay. And then enhanced profile user interface, browse, search, modify settings and permissions in your profile through streamlined user interface. Okay. So this is purely for the profile view, where you can go and browse the profiles, search for the profiles and modify settings for the profiles and everything, like whatever you want to see in the users. Right, go to the setup. This is like, either you can have full permissions to see for the users, or you can give only the restricted. That's what it is all about.
Okay.
So if you see it here, so this is the list view. Okay, this is the profile list view. This is what the profile list view we talked about. So this is just the list of profiles, right? And then you can even go and
check the.
Yeah.
But if you make it disabled, so it just shows the only names of the list, but we can't access it.
Yes, and you cannot search it for anything. You can search for any profiles, and you can clone the profile. You can edit the properties of the profile and all those things. You can delete the profile, all those things. You can only do it when you have the enhanced view. Like, for example, enhanced profile user interface. This is the profile's user interface, right? Profile UI. That's the profile list view. Okay, where you can browse, search, modify settings, permissions in the profile through the streamlined user interface. So this is enabled. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, cool. So we are good with the users and the users. Now you as administrator know how to create the users. And what are the things we learned today? We learned a lot of stuff, right? How to create the users, how to create the multiple users, what are the license that is available, what are the roles that is available. One role can be each user will have only one role and one profile. Roles and profile are more important. Okay. And they can have like multiple licenses. Right.
Yeah.
And we talked about the user management settings also, and we talked about the username and all that. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be talking about more of your company settings and how the company can do on all these things. And we'll also do like other things about the users. We'll be proceeding towards like they will be completing the other user information that we have.
Okay.
Any questions so far? I have like you can take like 2 minutes to see if you have any questions, and I'm ready to answer any of the questions that you have.
No. So far no.
Okay, cool. I'll share these videos to you, and like you can go and practice with your developer account, and then we'll be talking about more in depth about roles, profiles, and all that, all the settings. Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you the timings tomorrow during the daytime, and we will meet. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Sai.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.